Call the order of this meeting of the Wabash Township Board. It is 7:04 on February 17th. Roll call. John Mary, present. And Jay. Present. Present. All rise for the pledge of allegiance to the flag. Of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Okay. Do any members of the board, I don't think they will change on the current agenda or on the minutes. On
the meeting agenda, there is, we need to add a motion to authorize you to sign the final contract with the folks. So if we agree to add that as item 5, as 8.d. And I'll write that motion and read it out so that everybody authorize.
Vote for approval of meeting minutes from December 30th, January 6th, and January 20th. So moved. All in favor? Aye. All right. Any updates other than what we're here to talk about from the township?
I'll do a quick one. Mine will be a 1 minute piece. We've gotten started back up again on township systems. We are continuing to move at a steady clip. We also have gone through and are starting to go back to meeting with some of the agencies in the community. We've also been down at the State House a couple of times with the ICA. We're still having conversations about some of these items that I mentioned on potential increases for fire department funding. So we continue to work with our legislators on those pieces. And then I also just for public record, I know that we previously discussed the process for having board members review transactions. We haven't historically done. And so I was sent those over to you guys.
I don't think this is on, by the way. Do you see the lights on it? I don't.
Yeah, I see this guy. And you want to give an update while
yeah, I can do a report. Just some of the run numbers. Just some run numbers. 24, we were at 198 as of February 17th. In 24, last year we were at 226, and today we're 228. So pretty close to last year. We've hired a few positions so far, a couple of folks. We've hired one of our civilian paramedics, and we've hired one of our firefighters. A new firefighter will start March 9th. Just transitioning out of the other job, takes some time off. Our civilian paramedic actually started already. And it's going really, really well. Our civilian paramedic, Nicole Wagner, she comes to us with just over 3 years as a medic. Charity Musselman is our firefighter that we hired. She's been a career firefighter for 3 years at the Cass County Fire District, but she's been a firefighter for 9 years as a volunteer up there. So we're pretty excited to have her on. We've got a few other folks we've interviewed. We've got some good potential candidates that we're wrapping up our processes now. So maybe by the next time we meet, we'll have all of our spots filled. So we were also able to hire Paul Reeder, who is he's the instructor for the paramedic program. We hired Paul as our new Olympic Health Director. I know some of us have talked about him already, but he got started already and he kind of hit the ground running. Just kind of doing kind of a comprehensive dig into the division right now to figure out the services we provide, and what we want to provide, and what our capabilities are, things like that. So you'll start to see more kind of coming out, classes that are being offered through our NIH division, CPR, stop and bleed, stuff like that. So that's going to continue, and there will end up being more, I'm sure, in the coming days. So we had placed an order for the pack. They should be here within the next couple of weeks. We have some interest in our rear packs, the Greater Lafayette Career Academy. Yes, there we go. That's the word I'm looking for. Where the students go through the program over at 18th and Teal. They've got some interest in our air hacks. So they've been talking with Deputy Chief Wade about possibly buying all of our stuff. So that'll be really beneficial. And it's going to be going with folks we will end up getting some of those folks anyway. We have actually one of our firefighters, Ethan Nesqually, actually went to that program. So if he's in the firefighter. So it'll work out really well. The only other thing that seems somewhat significant is, well, two things is, we're in the process of replacing orders for new lockers upstairs, just to fill out the rest of our career staff. But we've also we're looking at beds. We've just got a ton of folks that are staying here. So we've got some other than any equipment we've got to get. And by a ton of folks, we have a bunch of volunteers that are staying on overnight, which is hugely beneficial to our career staff being able to supplement those folks too. So there's just some general growth stuff that's kind of happening through the process. So beyond that, there's a lot of this thing growth and development. Today we got our sketch plans for the second phase of Timberbrook Meadows along 600 North. That's another roughly 140 lots, which we knew has been coming for a couple of years, but they told us at the beginning of that process that it would be happening, but we got the drawings for today. We also got some drawings for the drawings for Millbrook, starting to funnel in a little bit. So we got us set today for the first part of that process as well. So just a lot going on, and trying to get a lot done with a few people. So we're making it happen. So, is that any questions for me?
Chief, last couple of times you've talked about really being high down the wall and fire inspections and safety inspections with the department. Did I understand that we're hiring fire marshal?
Yes.
Do you have a system that?
The fire, that will be the fire marshal primary responsibility. We'll be doing all those inspections, the building inspections. They'll be helping out with fire prevention stuff. There will be kind of a wide range of things that kind of takes a lot of the meetings that area commission and does a lot of those sort of background things. So we've got the job, we've had the job posted. We actually had a candidate that we had extended a job on to. Some things happened in his current job. I think we came on there for a little bit. So we're still trying to figure out if we're going to wait to fill it or if we're going to be posted jobs. So, yeah, we're not sure yet. Maybe that might be a possibility. We also have an internal candidate that's interested. So we'll know more soon. I don't have any good answers for it right now.
So I would assume they're coming back with that.
Maybe the gentleman from outside was coming in without the training, but we have some classes that are happening pretty quickly to be able to plug him into. We can train. Our internal candidate has got some of the training already. And then who knows from the outside? There's been some folks that have interest in doing it part-time. So we're just trying to figure out all the options and figure out what's best for you right now to get us through this big rush. So,
thank you.
yes, sir.
And I'll just note before we move on from the meeting minutes, so I just talked about numbers, and I just wanted to set context for what we're really talking about today, which is that at the end of last year, you can see we went from basically 1,250 runs a year, all the way up to 1,800 runs a year in just a couple of years, and that's immediately a 50% increase in my life. So little context for what we're doing. All right, open it up to public comment before we proceed with business. Right.
Yeah, Frank Mann, 222 Drive, that's all. Yeah, just from the last meeting, just glad that you guys noticed that I missed it, because I heard a little conversation at the beginning, but you might some game.
We're gonna cancel the meeting, she went there.
Yeah. Just conversation with Assembly House Bill 1315 and Senate Bill 270, the consolidation bill for townships. That, I agree with the that because we had an active expanding fire department, I'm looking at the bills myself extensively. In fact, I sent in the initial 1315 back in the first week of January, to keep an eye on this. That neither bill will adversely affect local township. I heard a presentation on Saturday on both bills, which was very interesting. And then one bill, HB 1315, was categorized as a slash and burn bill, drive the townships, consolidating the counties. And at that time, with the funds would just be added to a big pot. And the service would be used to the board and maybe to cemeteries look like that. That was the general feeling from that board report. So again, I agree with Danielle that speak 270. And at this point, both bills have crossed over. So we should know soon which bill or hybrid both bills comes out of the conference committee. And if they were, if I was able to, because you're not anymore, there's no more public comment. I wish I could have gone down there, but I hadn't. I would have testified on the need of receiving townships to go to 5 board members. And would have asked that 2 be elected at large and that 3 districts be created, that 1 be for each district. So that people don't feel that everything is coming, from one particular area within the expanded township. And that's it. The comments at next meeting I'll make about your comments at the end of last meeting, David, in regards to overdevelopment. Thanks so much. Say that for everything. Thank you.
All right, moving on to business. I will open a public hearing on the issuance of general obligation bonds and related additional appropriations. Second. All in favor? Aye. Public hearing open. And I'll just set that.
No, so I'll actually cede the floor really to Pat and Pat for starters here. So if I'll have I know that Pat is Pat Graham is our women's representative, and then we have other Patrick, who is our working with GM development. They're going to be the ones operating the lot and building the building itself. And then I forget your name.
I'm Hannah.
And she's here from the bond council office as well. So I know that she'll go through specifically the resolution of that's actually just to go through the resolution and what all the information on the first one. So you guys can.
I'll just give you guys a brief overview. So the board understands we are at a point, Peterson Construction has put the project out to bid. They have the bids back. They're working through the finite little details, so we should have that done any day now.
Draft contracts, yeah, be ready to go.
So, but the budget is at a point where we can get a contract going between GM Development and the township. So we've reviewed that today. It's in Daniel's hands to get it through the attorney and get it reviewed. But we were actually already able to turn over $100,000 off the initial budget that we thought. And then there's still some line items on there that we're working through, generally with some IT stuff, or old stuff, cameras, stuff like that. We need to just fine tune, and we know the line, the placeholders that we have in that budget, that it's more than a million, so that number will finish for us. Pretty happy with where we're at right now. And within the next 3 weeks, we'll have our what's called our kickoff meeting scheduled. Which basically that's all the players, you guys, all the contractors, everybody will be at the table and we're going to you know, we'll go through the process. We'll talk for
The team will be on track to start with shovels in the ground in March. You know, the idea is set up that kickoff meeting. That's not to apply any urgency, just so everybody can know. You guys. So we have the contract submitted. He's still the good thunder that we're under budget. Yeah. We anticipated actually tightening a little bit as we fine tune a few of these kind of open items specifically. But we have an adequate plan in place. Any savings that come up through this process, we return to the township. So any of those savings do come back.
And that's our, this like, so that you guys in your packet, the last two sheets, the end of that, assuming that I placed them in the right order when I was rushing. So these last two pages are the previous version of the budget, the December 15 version. Oh, we got the double column session. And so here, this one, page 32, is the current version of the budget, the simplified version. But I wanted to be able to provide you both for comparison. So we have originally been looking at a construction cost of $4.4 million plus contingencies, et cetera. That included that included a list of alternates that had been approved. It was something that we hadn't yet included in the budget at that point. That remains the same, to the best of my knowledge. Whether those are included or not is the same as that last sheet on the page. But that number has gone down, the total project cost from 4.983 to 4.845. That's the extra budget submitted by years. So
And that would be the guaranteed max price now, and then we have savings even with that.
yes. All right.
Yeah.
Any questions for you guys?
No, that just answered my own.
Okay.
Okay.
I did agree to say that, here's what's the lot of work. We've got over 95% local contact with the community. So that's a good thing, and that helps.
It does keep the dollars local, which we think is one of the best parts of this process. And we can do as much as we can and keep its dollars to firms, I would say 30 minutes.
Love it. Any further for close to here?
You have to offer opportunity for public comment.
And then public comment. We're gonna put it in. I never remember putting it in the questions. All right. Vote to close the public hearing. We have a second. All in favor? Aye. All right. Do you have the wording of the motion that you'd like to?
But that would be at D, so it's after. Yes.
All right, resolution 26-6, authorizing us to create a full project like. Any questions from the board? Before we proceed?
If you want, and
Summary.
yes, would you
Yeah,
like
I
to
mean,
offer
it's
something?
the quick and dirty version. So all the resolution does is authorize the max to this competition. It doesn't say it's done anything that's gonna happen. It's just sort of the, as high as you can go. So it's 5.5 million is what we propose, 6%, which is pretty conservative right now. And the maximum maturity would be no later than 2037. It's like relatively quick. Other than that, I mean, the goal is to do this pretty quickly. Obviously the change in the market, but sell late in March and then have money by the end of April. So.
And that keeps everything on track, right?
Yes, yeah. And I know that we have the cash balance right now that after the bond is approved, we would be able to begin construction and use the cash balance that we have on it. And then begin, and once we receive the proceeds of the bond, we do that. We also, I don't remember if it's in this resolution or the other one, but it's also there's also declaration included in for bonds and projects like this to be able to repay the costs of expenses that have already taken place. So there will be a portion of the money that will be transferred over essentially to the general fund to cover some of the expenses that we've already undertaken. So some of that grants, for example, when we had the design also has work done by the engineers as well, so there is some costs associated with those, and so we'll be able to refund the general fund for those costs that are already in the
Any further questions? I'll call for a vote on resolution 2026-6. All in favor? Aye. All right, resolution 2026-7. I'm trying to think of a shorter way to something.
Essentially, resolution to additional appropriation.
Yeah. More detail around how we can spend.
Yes.
Did anybody have any questions? This one's much shorter. Did anybody have any questions about comments to this?
I think it's worth asking what that noting that there's a difference between the
Yes.
dollar amount from the bond itself and what the maximum budget is.
It's essentially, if you look at it in this like collective interest on the entire amount of debt.
Yes.
It would grow to that theoretical.
Yes. That, yeah, it will be, we know that it'll be substantially lower than that number, just because we'll be getting into construction quickly, but that's the resolution is offered, and obviously. And then the other thing I know, and I don't remember if it's a first or a second resolution, unlike most of our unlike most of our money, it's sitting in deposit, even if it's from firefighting fund or another fund, the interest earned, unless otherwise specified, goes into the general fund. That's the standard practice for units. With the bond, any interest earning stays, is returned to that bond fund. So the money stays with that fund itself, it doesn't go to the general fund. So we'll make sure to do the change, we'll have to create a new sub fund. Our interest in the area, make sure there's compartmentalized money. So, but we'll do that.
And specify the excess, left over in the account when construction is finished, will appropriately fold over into capital expenses.
Yes, essentially, yeah.
Yeah. Sent out and I believe the sentence.
Exactly, and it's in the first or second paragraph of resolution 2026-6, it specifies what all the project, the project revenue, the bond revenue can be used for in that project. And so that includes obviously the project itself. We make sure to include land acquisition as we're looking at buying additional property for the future solution as well. And then also miscellaneous expenses, miscellaneous capital outlay and equipment costs, et cetera. So just traditional language to be able to utilize any remaining bond proceeds for the purposes of using. Correct.
Yeah.
This is a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah, financially works out.
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
Call for a vote on resolution 2026-7. All in favor? Aye. All right. Next meeting is March 17th.
Now is when you have the.
Oh, yes, you're moving.
I have it.
So I'm writing that.
No, so there would be a motion to authorize the trustee to sign the completed, bond agreement with GM Development, for an amount not to exceed, just to give some order of the $4,900,000. So.
As stated.
So good, you said.
Motion to do that.
There's a second.
All in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay. Next meetings are in March and May, on the third Tuesday. Any additional announcements before we adjourn?
I don't have anything specific, that is a particular event, but, just a reminder, we are still looking at it on my calendar to invite folks from the county for that meeting and, to have conversations. So I'll be reaching out to, ABC Director Dara, Commissioner Murtaugh, and then, Council President. Yes.
And if Tom can't make it,
Well, yes, well, obviously. Okay. All right.
Motion to adjourn? All in favor? Aye. Aye.
I